students, welcome to the tutorial number 2. In previous tutorial we have seen that what is cloud computing, and I have given the real-time example. It's like taking a house on the rent, right? It's similar to that the cloud computing is. So you are clear with what is cloud computing now, and you can take this example in mind to keep the concept of what is cloud computing. Okay. So in this tutorial I'll be covering what are the cloud computing technologies. As you can see here, I'll be covering 4 cloud computing technology, which is a standard technologies and known in various book as well and various blog as well. But I'll be covering and giving a simple example to understand what is cloud computing technologies. Okay. So if you see here, the very first one is a virtualization. So what is virtualization? You might have read this word or listen this word many a times, right? In the cloud computing, virtualization is the major, or what we say, the most important component, right? And if you talk about virtualization, there are various virtualization which come into the picture, right? Server, network and storage, which are the main component of your data center. So those are virtualized now, okay, in cloud computing. So what is virtualization? So example for virtualization, let's consider that you have a computer which is not fully utilized. What do you mean by that? You have a 500 GB of storage and let's say 8 GB of RAM, but you are hardly using 100 GB and you are using a 1 GB of RAM or 2 GB of RAM. So whatever the RAM is there, like 5 or 6 GB, is going west, or it's not getting utilized, and apart from that the storage space as well, right? So that is what it's underutilization of resources. It used to happen in older days in the data center as well. Your physical servers were not completely getting utilized. Your hardware resources, CPU, memory, storage space, even networking, it was not getting completely utilized. That's the reason the virtualization come into the picture, which will be a software layer which is added on top of a physical infrastructure to use that physical infrastructure and share across various operating systems, which we call as a guest operating system, right? The example for virtualization is VMware. Okay, so VMware you might have used, or you might have come across that some point of time, or if you have not used, that's fine, but that is a company who work on the virtualization. So the software layer which is created on the physical infrastructure is called as a hypervisor. So let me draw the diagram for you. Let's say you have a CPU, storage, network. So let's say these are physical components of your server which is in the data center. So you are adding one more layer which is called as a software layer, and in cloud computing terminology we call it as a hypervisor layer. Okay, so these physical resources talk to the software layer and it will get shared across various operating systems which we call as a guest operating system. So if you are saying here, it's a Linux and Windows operating system which is on one physical server. So this physical server has one software layer which is we call as a hypervisor, and top of that hypervisor we are installing a guest operating system, Linux and Windows. So basically we are abstracting these physical resources and sharing across various operating system, so that we can completely utilize CPU, memory, storage, and the networking bandwidth available on the particular server. So that is what called as the virtualization. So here the CPU, let's say it has an 8 GB, so it can be shared as a 4 GB to Linux, 4 GB to Windows. Okay, so that's what we are completely utilizing the memory. What we say, CPU and memory. Let's take an example of a memory. It's 8 GB and it's shared. Okay. Similarly, this CPU. Okay. So CPU it has a more processing speed, and it is a single core, a dual core. Okay, and quad core. So we can share the processing power to these virtual machines, which are called as a guest operating system, and utilizing completely. Similarly, the storage space. Let's say we have a 1 TB of storage space, then shared across 500. Similarly, the networking bandwidth. Let's say I have a 10 GB. We are sharing as a 5 GB and 5 GB. So we are completely utilizing resources by the concept of virtualization. So software layer, which is top of physical layer, will help to utilize these physical resources on this operating system. So that is what the virtualization. So here we have virtualized server. Okay, we have virtualized the network. Okay, you will see the 5 GB bandwidth here, 5 GB here. Okay, we are virtualizing the storage. Okay, we are virtualizing the memory. Okay, so these are the primary components which are get shared and get virtualized, and there are a lot of types of virtualization subcomponents. For storage, you might have read that storage area networking SAN, NAS and DAS, right? Network attached storage and direct attached storage, right? So those are the storage. Basically, we call it as an storage types, but we are using in the virtualization concept. Okay. Apart from that, similarly the networking, sharing the bandwidth, the memory, we already talked about. So that is what the virtualization is. And second one is a service-oriented architecture. Okay, you might have not read much about this because of the cloud computing. The service-oriented architecture nowadays we are not getting utilized much, but still. So what is service-oriented architecture? It's independent of vendor, product and technology. It doesn't matter which vendor, which product and which technology. Let's say a doctor, biological and one scientist, they are accessing some data from particular infrastructure, okay, and they have a different application and their purpose is different, they're accessing the data in a different way, okay. So that is what means it's an integration of a particular infrastructure, and there are a lot of organization, you can say, involved with this service-oriented architecture, and utilizing that particular infrastructure for their own use, right? It may belong to multiple organizations as well, and they are combining infrastructure and utilizing their own data only. Okay. Next is a grid computing. So grid computing basically it's like having one main server where all admin duties are taken care of, right? And that particular grid computer will talk to the other bunch of computer, which we generally call as a cluster, right? So those networking components, those networking servers are connected by means of network, obviously, and the grid server will talk to that particular group of servers and fetch the data and serve the data. Okay, that is what the grid computing. Okay, and moving to the utility computing. Example is like you are paying your electricity bill, what you are using, right? And you are paying through some gateways or some application, right? So pay only for what you use. So in utility computing, the cloud computing can be used. Okay, and it is one of the type of cloud computing, you can say. But the cloud computing is way more advanced than these services which we are seeing here. So I will be comparing all of these technologies. Okay, okay, which is a cloud computing technology basically, and how it is different from the actual cloud computing in coming tutorials. Okay, virtualization, service-oriented architecture, grid computing, and utility computing. Okay, hope that this tutorial helped you and you liked it. Please share with your friends and please like the channel if you like it. Bye.